Get this thing going. So we are live here today. We're gonna come on here and let's see what we're gonna talk about. So the baseball playoffs started, and it's off and popping. Depends on who your team is. Let me get this stuff going. All right, just now coming on again. Got everything coming through. So if everybody's on, come on through. Got everything coming through. So if everybody's on, come on through. What's happening? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing today? What's going on? What's going on? I'm just trying to get everything sorted out. Trying to get everything sorted out. I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway, thank you for coming through. Hope you're having a good day. Please welcome aboard if you're coming through today. Hope everybody's doing good. We're live today. It is Wednesday morning or afternoon or night, maybe early Thursday, depending on where you are. I am live and welcome to the show. I will be on for the next hour at least, maybe a half hour. Depends if no one shows up. It depends on what I'm dealing with. Um, the thing is that I will be on. I was on yesterday, so on today, so probably won't be back again until question mark tomorrow. Definitely, probably Saturday. There it is. So I like to come on here 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes back to back. So we shall see. But hope everybody's doing good though. Feel free to take the poll, and if you got any questions, feel free to ask. And let's go on. What's happening? How you doing? What's up? Timing is perfect. Thank you for coming on. Got any questions? Feel free to ask. Let's go on. Just coming on today. What's happening? How you doing? How you doing? What's up? Timing is perfect. Thank you for coming on. Got any questions? Feel free to ask. Just coming on today. What's happening? How you doing? Appreciate everybody coming through. Timing is perfect. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, you noticed it. Did you not notice it? That game was off the chain. That was some interesting games. I Yeah, you noticed it. Did you not notice it? That game. The Cleveland Detroit game was tight. It's just some stupidity at the end of that one. Sadness as a Yankee fan. That was crazy. Depends on where you live. So who was a weirdo before Detroit? I don't understand what that means. I don't know who you're talking about. You got me on that one. I'm baffled. Depends on where you live. Who was a weirdo before Detroit? Who are we talking about? I don't know who that is. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, welcome aboard to whoever you are. Well, no, I don't disagree about that first one because I'm gonna tell you why. The Padres are like the James Harden of the postseason, and you got too much talent to not do anything, and you got beat by the long ball, so that wasn't great. The Padres getting held to one run with that kind of talent, that's not great to me. Detroit and Cleveland, I saw flaws on both, but that pitcher, Scabo, was nice. He was sick with it. That was the Yankees loss was like that's indicative of their season. So close but so far. Oh no, I was glad to see old Shohei and Hernandez. The Dodgers was flexing their skills. Okay. We never really cared about Rodman cross dressing. We never cared about what Rodman did. What's happening? How you doing? We never cared about Rodman. Um, we because he was a great player, and the thing about it is, uh, no, they mock the way they dress, but actually, cats are more fluid with what they say. Ryman was different already, so he had just because he was so good that he got a pass. Let me say this in another way. And do I compare Dennis Rodman to Prince? Because Dennis Rodman was married to Carmen Electra, used to be associated with Prince. I'll say it like this: because he was so good, people didn't really trip about how he dressed. And see, if you got the goods, people don't really care. I don't know about that. Yeah, Rodman was. We don't care about how weird you are. We didn't. Because he was a mental distraction for a lot of opposing cats. That's what it was. He got on the court, he got in your head, he was able to do what he did. But cats weren't tripping about what he wore. No, he shouldn't. You're taking it way too extreme and too personal. No, he shouldn't. We didn't care back then. And I almost find it a comical that you're making a big deal about it, to be honest, because it really wasn't something Michael Jordan played alongside him, Scottie Pippen did, and Phil Jackson coached him. Oh, look, they see a lot worse than Rodman wearing a dress. I'm gonna say it like this because it's entertainment. Okay, you're taking it way too seriously. It's called entertainment. He's in entertainment business. Um, I don't really trip on none of those guys because no matter what they wear, I still remember them how they play on the basketball court. My knock was on the court. I never said anything about their fashion sense. I already did put the video up. I don't know. Oh, it's coming. It's coming Friday. Never mind. You'll see it Friday. If you're my member, you already can have access to it. If you're not a member, you have to wait till Friday for the premiere. That's why I put that in the can. Sometimes I shoot videos early, certain videos, and they'll come out a later time. That's all. I never say anything about D Wade's dress or his personal life per se. It's things I don't like, but I ain't never say nothing. People don't even care no more. You gotta understand something. Counterculture is not a real big deal. Joe Namath used to wear pantyhose and a fur coat on the sideline, but did he win that Super Bowl for the Jets? Don't tell people what they should and shouldn't do. They wearing what they want to wear. I'm not gonna sit here and get into that. You might want to skip today if you don't got a problem with all that, because you're bringing up something that I wasn't even prepared to really go into talking about. I think Dennis Rodman is one of the greatest basketball players ever, a very unique player. I'm not hanging out with Rodman, but I'm not judging Rodman. And I don't appreciate anyone judging anybody. You either like his game or you like him or you don't, and let it go. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm not gonna be discussing this because it's not really something that needs to be discussed. Because it's not really relevant. You're trying to bring up something that was done 20 plus years ago, almost 30 years ago. And Rodman hasn't even played pro basketball in 25 years. I don't have anything to say about it. I can make a video about it. I'll make a video about it. I'll let y'all watch the video and you come to your own conclusions. I liked him as a player. I think he's one of the greatest players ever. I think he's one of the greatest mentalists ever. I think Rodman could actually teach a course on psychology because the Seattle Supersonics lost 2 games because he got in their head. He did enough distracting that it was crazy and it worked. And he happened to be a great talent. But hey, it's entertainment. And you know, well, you didn't understand the mental aspect of the game. It's not always about because of points you score or this. It's the other things he did, which might not ever show up on a box score, but he did other things. No, he was better than Draymond. Draymond wish he was Rodman. It's not the same. It's not the same. Draymond plays act like he tough. He ain't Rodman. And what else did he do though? Because Jason Whitlock is trying to be conservative, even though there's really no conservatism because Rudy Giuliani was in drag with Donald Trump. You want to bring that up? Draymond was not more important than Rodman. Rodman was on a team that won a chip, winning 70 plus games. Rodman actually did one thing great, and it was huge. Rodman did that in the Spurs. He helped David Robinson. He helped the Pistons. What has Draymond ever done? Complete how? Where else could he go and get his antics though? I seen Rodman do that with 3 teams. So when you speak on something, make sure you can back it up. And did they win? No. Rodman won. Enough said. They didn't win the chip though. We knew that was gonna happen. He didn't like him, but he didn't mind playing with him. They didn't win because the Rockets tore they behind up, but they got to the Western Conference. That was furthest they had gotten with David Robinson until Tim Duncan got there. Well, David, imagery wise, David's old stiff sellout brother. So what you expect? He didn't do nothing until Duncan got there. He great as he was, Duncan. Remember, he got that fraudulent scoring title, and that was hilarious because that shows you how lopsided what they thought. But who got the better end of the deal? Who got the better end of the deal? Will Purdue couldn't carry Dennis Rodman's Kool-Aid packages. Stop. Because they were conservative. And he was making a mockery of them, and it laughed, and he was great. Rodman was theater. He learned the marketing aspect of the game. I don't go around talking about what cats wear, though. See, so that's the thing. Let's get that straight. You know, and let me tell you something. If you really knew how some of these players were, some of the things were, you might like them, you might not like them. Not quite, not quite. But it's funny you mentioned it, but not quite though. Um, that was a popular thing around that era, though. Funny you mentioned it, but no, not quite. No, they're not. If unless they're under 25 or 30, they would. But the people who grew up watching them both is taking Rodman. And that's where you're wrong. I can tell you, Rodman is considered one of the greatest players ever. Can't say it about Draymond. Seems like you got to be in your bonnet about something that has nothing to do with the conversation, and you're just going on a tangent. I don't know why I can't respect him because he doesn't play basketball. He chokes people out. He slurps up to LeBron James, and he can't defend nobody. What's the respect? Shoot, I can show you Dennis Rodman hold his own against Shaquille O'Neal, hold his own against Sean Kemp. That wasn't the only one he had. He had Carmen Electra too as a wife. He had Cindy Crawford in all of him. I can tell you, he had let me let you a secret. When they played the Sonics in the championship, he had almost as many groupies as Jordan did. He ain't the greatest. Don't start that crap again. The only time you get hit in your men's section and then you turn around and y'all best buddies dancing together and cheek to cheek. No. Rodman would never. Rodman knew how to check LeBron too. He would show you how to shut him down almost. I bought the book. I watched Rodman. And Rodman was a PR move for what the NBA is about. That was an Italian thing. You know, that's what the Italians do. So that's how they did it. Kiss of death. It's like in The Godfather. But I'm not getting to people's part. Like I tell you, you either appreciate the cats what they played, or you're gonna go into something else. I'm not gonna go into that area, but you know. What generation am I from? I grew up with Rodman. Draymond ain't tough. He's a punk. Shoot. I can name you 3 or 4 guys that would knock him on his behind. He can't hang with none of the old school. He's off. He looked like he got something because y'all let him walk around here and huff and puff and then get himself too quick to technical fouls. He ain't nothing. Oh, I already know about LeBron. I already know. That's not no breaking news. He don't want to play. He 40 years old. He been playing 20 plus years. What you expect? Shoot. His butt needs to burn as much as he can. Shh. He don't want to play. Rodman went up against Alonzo Mourning. He went up against Charles Oakley. He went up against cats that would flatten you out. And he knew, and he positioned his body. Draymond Green would get ate up by Shaq. What the heck are you talking about? Shh. Tell me you're too young and you don't know, and I'll leave it at that. So did your mama. Now you got to go. I'm not dealing with trolls today. Tell me you don't like him, fine, but don't downplay his game. You don't get to be the right hand man with Michael Jordan and you know. No, LeBron's gonna go full throttle. He ain't gonna limit. They can't afford to have him off the bench. They're not that good. I never said Rodman stopped him. I said he could hold his own as much as he could. I never said he stopped him. No one stopped Shaq in his peak in his prime. But Rodman wasn't afraid either. Draymond ain't never gone against nobody like that. So you can't even compare. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. And I did see Draymond have to ride the pine against they can't stop Jokic. Now, funny you mentioned that. Draymond do nothing against Jokic. Jokic be having him against him. I think the aces. The white when Jokic was younger, he couldn't do it to him now. I ain't see Draymond knock off on nobody that mattered. Yeah, he is because Jokic can't get out the second round lately. What's against Rudy Gobert and what's the story? And he ain't looked so good in his last 2 years. He ain't looked too good the last 2 years. His butt then got knocked out the second round the last 2 straight years. Minnesota been in the Western Conference Finals. I think you may want to retype that. Jokic ain't scaring nobody lately. Ain't got no moves, but he knew how to defend him. But that was 2020. I don't know if he could have anything with him now, but he could. We'll see soon. We'll see soon. 62% saying baseball's back. It is great. I'm glad to see baseball fans taking it on because it has really been good to see. All right. Hello. How are you? Thank you for coming through. What it should have been. He had a good career. I don't think I look at Marc Gasol and think that he it was balanced. He was a meaty kind of player who had an outside shot who could rebound. He wasn't as versatile as his brother. Yankees better win. Cleveland better win. Cincinnati better win. Everybody that lost better win tonight or it's over. I remember you. Yeah, Mark and Zebo were a strong 1-2 punch. They needed someone who could just score points. That's why I always wish Carmelo Anthony had a gone there. Um, Mark could play. He was physical. I don't think he came out of nowhere. He just, he was in a good system and it worked out good for him. I'll say he came out of nowhere. I watched him in Memphis, and I remember with Michael Conley and those guys. They were a blue collar type of team. They didn't have no finesse. That's the thing that cost them as far as winning the chip. They missing a guy that could just straight out score points. So Mark was good. Mark was good. What you mean, Bengals Wild Max? What you mean by that? They ain't got Joe Burrow. They suck. What you mean? Wow. I don't know who that turkey was. Was it Nick Wright? One of them turkeys said that Joe Browning was going to be a good backup for them. I said, yeah, how did that turn out? How did that turn? Because his style of quarterbacking is that effective. He's cool. He just can't stay healthy. And the line sucks. and their defense sucks. But he can flat out play. Oh yeah, well the fall off is real. The drop off is real. The drop off is real. Because remember, he was the only one that broke through against Mahomes. Think about it. In the AFC, shoot, Mahomes been to 5 Super Bowls, and only after Brady retired, it was only Burrow that broke through. Other than that, it was 5 trips. So let that sink in. And Burrow's tough cat. So that just showed you that she really ain't that good. If they can almost go without her, and they want, and that should tell you everything you need to know right there. That speaks volumes, especially when you're ballyhoo. Yeah, but think about this too. Not only went to overtime, and this person's rookie of the year and all this hype. You are at your most hypiest the first 5 years. Jake Brown, and I remember when he was in college, he got exposed bad. Bad. I told you what they need to do: get Boomer Assassin out the old folks' home. Say, hey man, just throw a couple fades. That's all. Cause I mean, they're in trouble. That's what they got. They can't even put up 200 points. They can't even put up their body weight. Uh, I'm not gonna tell you nothing. Why you look like you look? She gotta obviously add to her repertoire. Cause if you're just gonna be a logo 3-point shooting player, you won't last long. Freakish accidents. It's not always like the way you think it is. Sometimes it's just freakish accidents. Football's a physical game, and injuries are part of the game. And you can slip on a banana peel as quick as you can get hit. You know. If he wins MVP this year, he'll win the chip. And then he will be on a Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dave Robinson tip. Yeah, well, they changed the turfs a lot. So you must be seeing something in Wemby. They got him top 5, so hey, I mean, shoot for the stars, but I don't know about that. But he should be near that point where he starts to become closing in on one of the top 3 positions as the best player in the league. Should be. Because I don't know how much longer it's going to take for the thing to unfold. Yeah. It could cause stuff. Mm-hmm. It can cause stuff. 56% saying yes about baseball wild cards. I think it's been great for baseball. I like the 2 out of 3 format. Probably won't, but Timmy T is the one who asked if he could be MVP. I just think that the point guard position, the coaching position, the deep, it's just little things with them that add up to a lot of big things. You know, they're one of those teams they've been romanticized. But I'm gonna tell you something: Tim Duncan ain't coming to the door. Parker and Ginobili ain't coming to the door. Pearl Jam, because I always thought Creed was a broke version of Pearl Jam. I never really got the Creed love. Never got into Creed like that. If I hadn't listened to Pearl Jam, I probably may have thought about somebody else, but Creed didn't do nothing for me. Really. And I go back with Pearl Jam. Yeah, Human Nature. I like that song better. I like the groove better. offer you didn't do nothing for me. Okay. Yeah, Madonna for the W on that one. I didn't care for it. My Janet Jackson era is pretty much 85 to about 95. I like a couple songs on Velvet Rope. I was pretty much done with her after that. If they can stay healthy, if they can stay healthy, if they can stay healthy. Health is everything. So, okay. I'm going to be on for another half hour. We got a good amount of people in here. Appreciate everybody coming through. Please keep on hitting that like up, hit those likes up, hit that poll up. This might be good. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. This is a real good one. I got to start Isaac Hayes. I got to bench Al Green, and I got to cut Curtis Mayfield. It's tough, but Isaac Hayes is like an embodiment of both of them. And Al Green's vocals and run, and the Curtis Mayfield one was tough, but most people, the impressions were important, and the Superfly soundtrack was important, but Isaac Hayes and Al Green carry crazy weight. Isaac is underappreciated, but Isaac did all of his thing writing. I didn't want to have to cut. How you gonna cut Isaac Hayes? Do you know about his track record? All them hit songs on Stacks with David Porter, and then he did soundtracks too. By the way, Shaft did come out before Superfly. He did everything Mayfield did. And Al Green, you ain't cutting Al Green because that dude is one of the greatest solo male artists ever. So somebody got to get cut. Well, you need to get enlightened because Isaac Hayes, Soul Man for Sam and Dave. Hold on, I'm coming for Sam and Dave. Obviously, Shaft, which was do your thing. Just lots of incredible arrangements and songs. That's why if you ask somebody, you know, I disagree with that list. Allen, I'll give you number one. Jalen Hurts, number two. Mahomes, three. And then you can debate after that. That's how I look at it. Allen, Hurts, Mahomes. Lamar is not consistent. His stats ain't even gonna be that good. Uh Baker. Oh, Drake is bigger. Drake is still bigger. No, because they hate him. You got Drew Brees talking about his game is ugly. Not in my real world, he's not. He should be two or three. He's more clutch. Oh, he won different ways. It ain't gotta be the same. No, I'm not hating Mahomes. Mahomes just started to play the last 2 weeks. but they lost head to head against Jalen Hurts. He did not play that good. That I know there was that missed field goal in that game, but Jalen wins games. He does what he has to do to win. No, I think Mahomes is in my 1 to 3 greatest quarterbacks ever. So that's what you don't know about me. So don't say nothing that you don't know. You ask me who the 3 greatest quarterbacks ever is: Mahomes, Montana, and Brady. What you mean where they at? They not in they're not top, they're not worthy. Aaron Rodgers is stat padding, but his does not look that good. Drake Maine throws too many picks and he's inconsistent. And he's not that good. New England's offense is a joke. Trevor Lawrence, if he could halfway bring some offense, that might be a shocking team. That could be a sleeper team. Stafford belongs. My order would be Brady, Mahomes, and in that order. Brady, Mahomes, and in Montana. 3 greatest quarterbacks ever, as far as I'm concerned. And everybody else after that, y'all can debate 4 through 10, but those are my three. And they're the standards for me. They're my standards. I'm always debating fourth or fifth. He's not in that argument with those guys. Mahomes done had some guys his career already. Marino's arguably 4 or 5. 3 chips, 5 Super Bowl appearances. And the guy camps out in the AFC Championship game to start his career. The last time Steve Young ain't in that argument. The last person that I seen in any sport to have a Patrick Mahomes type of run like that was who? Tiger Woods. That's dominance. It's toughest position to do. And also on top of that, he's going against contemporary guys who are great in their own era. The Lamar's a 2-time league MVP. You got a guy in Josh Allen, league MVP. Burrows went as a Super Bowl runner-up. These ain't no slouches. So to dominate like that, because I'm gonna be real with you. Brady had Manning, but what else? Dominant for what he did, but he did it in 2-part harmony. Mahomes had already done the half of his career almost. And remember, he lost to him, but that AFC Championship game could have gone either way. So, I mean, think about it. Brady's in his way from even more. That's the scary part about Mahomes. So that's what I'm sold on. So that's it right there. No argument. You ain't got nobody else. Yeah. But that still doesn't mean that Mahomes doesn't belong in the conversation. No, Joe Montana's gonna always be third. Breeze ain't in that conversation. He's stat padded. Breeze is kind of like Steve Nash with a ring. I'm not in that argument. Oh, I get how you got hyped by him, but stats aside, he really wasn't that dude. Montana was better than Breeze. That's an insult. Joe Montana was one of the most clutch quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. And he was consistent and impeccable in the postseason. Breeze underachieved. And the Chargers and the Saints, he should have been about 2 or 3 more Super Bowls, to me. He had a great offensive set, and I don't know. He was entertaining. Yeah, Big Ben got more done. I'll give you that. He got more than Breeze got done. I'll give you that. Always top 10. 2 and 3 in the Super Bowl. I mean, had one of the greatest releases. But let me be real. Terrell Davis was a turning point for him. And, maybe if he wins one early in his career against Washington or against Frisco or against or yeah, one of those early ones, we'll look at him differently. But the way he got beat was bad. I'm more of a Dan Fouts guy. But I will use this for a future question though. That's a great question for a future episode. Thank you. I'm more of a Fouts guy though. Great question. I'm gonna use that for a future episode. A future one of my lives I do. Yeah, Doug is top 50, and Randall would be top 30. I'll use that one too. Y'all both gave me some great ideas. Cunningham was an incredible talent because they're black. And you got to remember something. Doug Williams, that's almost 40 years ago when he won the Super Bowl, right? Then you had to wait all the way to Russell Wilson in 2013, right? And then you had a lot. You had McNair in the Super Bowl as a runner-up. Uh, but it wasn't. It's been a white man quarterback ran league, so there's a lot of politics involved. I saw it. I did a video about it. My video was out. I talked about it. Yeah, Doug had a very strong book. If y'all watch my videos, I did a video about that one already. It's available. It's a reminder of who you are. They knew where he was coming from. They knew it was up. It's nothing new. You get numb to it, but it's the reality of racist cops and you know and what they do. Some people don't like you to say it. Some people rather have you lie and act like, oh, I got a couple good titles I'm gonna work on. So, hmm thank you for that. I'm gonna use those. Interesting thing about the Doug and Randall Cunningham thing. If Randall had a won a ring, he probably would be probably a lot closer to 20, higher 20. But I like Doug Williams a lot. He went back from college and won, but he didn't get his due though. No, he never got his due. I don't know what that means, and you got to go. Speak some I can understand. Anyway, it's a good vibe today. A lot of people coming out. I appreciate that. Go ahead. Feel free. Y'all been asking stuff all day. The Ryman thing was crazy. I'm gonna do a video about that in the future. Real soon. It happens wherever you are in America. You black, you always reminded of it. They know where you are. They know who you are. That's what they do. I remember Miles Davis did a video shoot back in '59 when Kinda Blue came out, and he was all cut up and beat up, and he had to go back on stage and perform. It's nothing new. Yeah, long time ago. Let me write that one down. I think I had that happen I defended myself. That's all you need to know. I knew how to defend myself. Um, I had to happen. I had some turkey on here yesterday trying to tell me to be this in my Heat outfit and said be a Laker fan. Um, it's not something that I like to talk about. I'm gonna tell you why. I don't. You don't really want to be fighting on people. People tend to make you more angry and get your temperament than the actual fight. But you really don't want to have to do that. You want to have a conversation with folks. Sometimes you got to go to Fifth City, but you want to have to settle it without having to resort to any violence or anything like that. You really do. And there comes a time and point in your life you really don't want to have to go through that. But sometimes people will test your will, come at you. You know, what's up? How you doing? I'm here for another 15 minutes. You got time to talk? Like, oh, come on. Now, it's not even like that. It's more about they try to say your team sucks. They try to say that, your team ain't winning nothing. Why it's that kind of thing. I don't care about that. You know, if you can be a Bills fan, you really know that you're going to hear all kinds of stuff. So, hey, it's all good. But hey, I applaud the people that are fans of the Carolina Panthers of the world or the you know, baseball teams that never do anything or the basketball teams because it has to be a level of dedication and you're going to get humiliated, but hey, that's part of it. You don't mind because that's your team. I don't like the jock riders who jump on the team when they win and they say, hey, I was there all along. No, you weren't. He looks like he in trouble, but it looks like there's more to it that's going on. It looks like there's something else involved with it. I have not done a video on it, but it seems like it's almost a setup though. Cause a lot too many ironies in the Tesla. There are certain things that I may think about do a video on. If I don't do it, it's because it ran through my mind. But then sometimes it seems like I don't know about this one. Anyway, glad to see you, Charlene. I'll be here for a little while, but I've been on here for almost an hour. Got some folks in here just doing pretty good, so we're gonna see. I don't know what that means. Mm. Well, it depends if if it's an assault. So you gotta, and sometimes cooler heads have to kind of. It depends, but it is an assault, and you can't be just swinging up on folks. Who are you talking about? Oh, the car. Oh, that. Oh, yeah, that. Oh, it doesn't sound like it's legit. It sounds like there's something sinister involved with that. Yeah. Like I said before, there sounds more to that story than meets the eye. So we shall see. That's the least they can do because they know he crazy. So I mean, you know, big game for both teams. It's a trap game for the Rams because hey, you got to win that game. So don't look past them. Huge game for the 49ers because if they don't win, then that's another loss and they start to, you know, huge game. So I think the Rams need to make a statement. If they win that game, then they gonna own the West. If they lose that game, then the 49ers are just creeping back. Oh, it's dilly D and dilly dum. Purdy looked bad against Jacksonville. And Mac Jones, you know about Mac and Cheese Jones. I don't talk about Mac and Cheese. Because he makes Baker Mayfield look like the second coming of Jay Cutler. Man, he's brutal. Mac and Cheese is horrible. There's always underground something. It's possible. That's true. Oh yeah, if you ever watch my live streams, I've always called him Mac and Cheese because that's he's gooey and he's corny. And it didn't work in New England. He stunk it up in Jacksonville. Now he's out in Frisco. And this is probably the best coaching he's going to get for offense. Well, that you can love all you want, but you see the problem is if your team can do better without you, then you're really not helping the cause. And the thing is, um, it looks bad for them that they did that well without her. She didn't have no reason to. She's shooting logo threes. you know, I don't think nobody enjoys playing that much, but then somebody makes sacrifices. So that's how I look at it. But anyway, back to what Arnell was saying. Yeah. The 49ers could be in a lot of trouble. No, it never has been. Who told you it was? Who told you it was? I mean, the more and more we watch hoops, those days of a guy being a defender stopper is long gone. They don't that doesn't sell tickets. They want clicks and views. They're not trying to see a guy lock somebody down. Sure. Um, you can't compare. You can't compare. But so did D Wade. He took pride in it. So did Tim Duncan. I mean, there were guys who played both ways. Kawhi Leonard once upon a time. Yeah. It's a few guys. But it's a different era now. They paying guys to shoot long range shots. Then you can get back taps. You can stat pad. You again. It's also what the commissioner wants. This ain't just on the guys playing. This is also politics. It's in the booth. That's why when you look on NBA platforms and places to watch games, they got 6 or 7 different components because that's what's up. Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to because the facade is he's gone all them, championship games. So that's what the trade off. And I don't think they're gonna work it against him because he's been able to stat pad and you know. I was more of Eric Dam. I was more of a oh god. Never mind. Is this a joke? Is this a joke? Is this comedy night? Are you Gilbert Arenas? Are you trolling now? Really? Oh God. Jamal McGlory. I ain't heard that name. Oh, last time I heard his name. I think I had a MySpace account. And Eric Dampier, I remember when Shaq called him Eric, I was like, man, that was cold. He was big, brawly, and he them 6 points is all I remember. He sucked. Oh God, this is brutally bad. Brutally bad. I'll say by default, I think McGlure had an outer body week once upon a time, but it's pretty bad. Oh yeah, trash battle. You brought up a names I ain't thought about. Oh God, you got to go back 20 years ago. I kid you not. You really do. You really do. I ain't thought about them turkeys since I can't remember. See now, I'm gonna tell you, Tinsley had an out of body couple weeks, and then he just fell off because he was a third tier guard, and Daryl Armstrong was what he was. But Tinsley had a moment. He had a kind of a moment. Boy, that is taking it back though. You need to start with them names though. You digging some names out the wood shit I ain't seen. I told you. You bring up the MySpace friend names. That's when MySpace was often popular in the streets and LimeWire was in your background. And remember a Sprite remix was what was happening. Shh. Oh Lord. Caffy Taffy. God. There was some scrubs that was known back then. I don't know. You got me on them. Okay. Me too. I did too. It's just that, guess what? I ain't heard the names a long time. It's like saying Ethan Thompson and you gonna mention names. I can mention names too. You know. Um Dang. What's his name used to be the center for Sacramento back then? Scott Pollard. I remember all them cats. But when you mentioning some cats, I ain't thought about Kareem Rush, Brian Stith. I remember. I all remember the big original O. That dude was a bucket. Odin was crazy. I still remember when he was he got in trouble for dressing up like 5 in Utah. Some mess he did. He did some crazy stuff and he got in trouble with that girl or something too. He was always doing something crazy. And I had a buddy of mine, kid you not, because Roland Polynese came from Virginia. Cat I used to know used to try to impersonate him. We be playing 21. He be doing the Olden Polynese free throw shooting technique. I kid you not. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. So when you mention certain people, I go back with them. I don't always admit it though. Yeah, I used to collect basketball, football, baseball cards. Yeah, well, Buck is like fresh in my mind. He was 20 and 10 every night. And for all them cats up here howling about Draymond Green, Buck would have knocked a two place out of him, knocked a piece out of him. Buck was not to be messed with in the paint in the box. Buck was raw and physical. When your name was Buck, you were gonna get knocked over. But okay. We got some good poll numbers up here, and please hit the like. Let me see if I can turn this thing on too. Getting some good. Hope everybody's enjoying this first day of October Fool's Day. Welcome to October. Hope you're doing good. It's hard to believe the year's almost up. Man, it's crazy. We got like we got like 2 months. That's a good debate, but I probably go with Nick. Cause Nick balled with. If you remember that one year he was with Dallas in the playoffs, he had that outer body. If you didn't catch Nick on the left or right way, Nick could eat you. He could eat you for breakfast. He'd wear you out on that one fade. Sedell was nice though, but Nick the Quick was legit for a moment. You know, I think I remember that practice that Kobe went against him, and he finally figured out how to hit him on the angle. Because if you weren't ready, Nick could embarrass you. Sedell was nice. He took him up after in practice, but Eddie Jones was nice there for a moment. Eddie had good defense. I'll say you this: Eddie's defense was comparable. His offense is what hurt him, though. 16, 17 points a game, and he never took it up another level. But as a defender and ball handle and his quickness, Eddie was nice. Eddie would have been a good fit for another era of the Lakers. Because he's one of those guys that was like all-star worthy and could play, you know. Yep. Yep. A broke version of him. Yep. What they did is that they got him on the perimeter, and then they got physical with him. When you take Shaq out the equation, they knew how to guard and switch up. That's what Jerry Sloan's coaching was something else. He could switch up on your guards and wear you out on the perimeter, drive you in. You know, Shaq don't get it. Y'all gonna get beat because you're not gonna be able to defer to nobody. So you know, they was a well coached team. Jerry Sloan's one of the best coaches ever. No, he wasn't. I like him though. I agree with you. Quran was one of those cats I like listening to his interviews. I like how he talked and everything like that. But I never quite got the next out of him though. Yeah, Q Rich could shoot and was quick, but yeah, Quran I liked him a little better though. Yeah, I'll give you that. So okay. Yeah, he definitely doing business off the court. Quite busy. He didn't dominate him. He won. He didn't dominate him. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, because that series was a close six. And I do believe that if Utah had a center or a little tweak, it doesn't show me nothing. They had a better system. What happened when Phil Jackson came and coached Shaquille O'Neal? He went to 4 finals in 5 years. So Shaq needed to have the right system in place. It did wonders. And if you pay attention and you're a historian, you look up the finals numbers and you see stats and all that, those two names are always the ones that are more prevalent in the top 10. He wasn't. That's why he ain't been as successful. because his system don't work. Now they needed a guy that could score at least about 10 or 12 points. That's the problem with Matumbo. He'd have been clogging the middle, but he could have done anything as far as scoring, rebounding. It's kind of like what the problem the Timberwolves run into with Rudy Gobert. It is that once every blue he gets gets a what I call a sucker night where he looks better than he is on offense. But if he don't defend and if he get cooked, he can get cooked. Now I think the Ronnie Cyclic thing would have been interesting. I'll put it to you like this though: if they had a guy like Rick Smits, they definitely would have beaten the Bulls. I think because that style flexibility as a center to 17, 18 points and rebounds, and you can defend, and he can shoot free throws, and it would have been that's the kind of center they needed, but it never happened. Um, you know what? He stole him a ring this year, and I see a lot of upside to him. He's very, and that's a good comparison, good one because he's got the versatility. He's got good footwork. He's got cadence. I'm gonna use that for a video. Thank you, RC. That's a RC shout out video there. If he utilizes his footwork, yeah. Because he's got the moves. The up and unders, it's very noticeable. That's a good one. That's also kind of tough for me too, because Kevin McHale was one of my favorite players. And when you say that, I have to have a moment of kind of like silence. Because McHale was like a human octopus. I have never seen anybody in the box use their arms and utilize so many arms that you couldn't even count. The next closest was probably his teammate Robert Parrish. Those cats used a lot of arms and motion in that glass, unlike anybody I've ever seen. But McHale, he could beat you with so many different scoots and shots, and he had a little move too. So yeah, if Chad Hogan does like I think he's going to do, he'll be fine. I think that once he takes it to another level, then they'll start going through him. Okay. Okay. That's a pretty good question to take right there. Let's see what we got so far. Let me know if you're still coming on to speak or not, because everybody got kind of quiet. So okay. Has everybody kind of decided to go all in? Because I don't see nobody talking anymore. So I think everybody kind of slowed down. Yeah. No, he's not. Stop with the cap. No, he's not. Because that Miami was a good example. He wasn't, especially against the Spurs. Yeah, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He didn't get to pull that mess in Miami. He did pull that in Cleveland and the Lakers. He didn't pull that mess in this day and era. It's everything because the guys are asked to be middle relievers and short relievers and analytical, and they dive to the bullpen. So it's important that you have the components. You do yourself a disservice today if you without it. There's an ace pitcher. I'm old school with that. First of all, bullpens are cool to finish everything up. But if you got a great pitcher, come on now. Come on. A pitcher can dominate and win. It's carries crazy weight. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. The Dodgers got to be careful with that though, but I think they'll be okay. First of all, Tony teams can hang with them, so I think they're gonna be okay. But I wouldn't be chancing it though from the Dodgers though. I wouldn't chance it. You be cruising for a bruise and you keep playing like that. So if you're a Dodger fan, but the hitting is there. It's gonna be the pitching. It's gonna be the pitching because they kind of slowed down. There was a point in the season where they looked almost unbeatable. I remember they went to Seattle and tore they behind up. They tore the Dodgers up. They were one at mid August. They were the best team. So I see what they do when the time comes up. I think they it's just that I think that the Dodgers are the cream of the crop. They're the ones that you love to hate, and you got to go through them. Phillies are gonna be interesting. There's an interesting story. You know, well, I think the Cubs got a chance to do something. They got a chance. They can win close games. They can definitely be a problem for big destructive games. So we'll see. Yeah, if they can have about what 10 more draws, yeah. You ain't gonna play everybody ain't gonna be like Green Bay. I'm afraid not. And you start making scrub teams and scrub quarterbacks look good. And yeah, y'all fans are delusional, y'all. Please don't say nothing like that to no one out loud, cause you gave up almost a 40 burger to the Giants, gave up a 30 plus burger to the Bears. Some teams don't score 40 points by themselves in practice. And the Packers should have blew you out. Then y'all should have blew them out. Should have beat them. They should have beat. I don't know what to say. Well, he had one turnover, but it wasn't why they lost the game. Their defense was atrocious. Dak had free pick of the litter. There's no way where you know, yeah, yeah. He should have won the game. Should have won the game. And I don't know why you're getting so excited. So, two games in Texas Stadium, you've given up 77 points. You want a cookie for that? You've given up nearly 40 points at home. You want a cookie for that? Is that something to be excited? Is that how bad y'all think y'all the Golden State Warriors that y'all can just like if I score 41 Y'all score 40. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Y'all really seeing stars. I don't want to even touch that because I someone might be just known for trolling. And I don't think I want that on this channel either, so I gotta take that off. Cause they just like they lost. So anyway, be on for a little while longer. Now I ain't got no time for that. First of all, I don't want a few reasons why I don't. I don't want the people that are regulars around me to be disrespected and someone saying the wrong thing with slurs or anything that's offensive. So I'm not going to entertain that. I don't want any vulgarity. I don't want anything that's going to be incriminating or doctrine. Or, this YouTube live stream, someone says all this and that and the other. No. So that party ain't going to happen here. I don't do it in real life, so I'm not doing it on the screen life, just so you know. And if I call somebody out in real life for saying something offensive, I'm gonna say it on here. I don't play that. So, because your security is important as my security, the next person. And if you bring somebody here and you think something of my channel and you think something of what I present, I'm not gonna let nobody get disrespected and call people out and just bring no, say that for something else. Mm-mm. I'll be back. Oh God, gotta step out tomorrow. On Friday, I'm gonna be that tomorrow. It would be an earlier. If I came on, it'd be earlier. I doubt it. Definitely not Friday. Saturday, probably. Probably around this time or a little bit later. Probably around this time. Definitely back on Sunday. So that's why I did back to back. I did a Sunday and I did back to back. Like I said, I'm on 3 or 4 times. For me, for me, I gotta probably say 1999. Probably. Production wise, that's my favorite. Now, Sign of the Times has got its most eclectic stuff, but some of that stuff I like, some of it I don't. Depends on my mood, you know. But when you say they sound bad aesthetically, you're talking about the songs or do what? Well, give me your thoughts on that. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was an erratic cat. He was very talented. Yeah, he was a very. He put out a lot of stuff. Little Richard once said something about Prince. He said a whole lot of some, a little bit of something's better, a whole lot of nothing. He could be talented, but then he could be like, it's like sometimes some stuff works, sometimes it didn't. And sometimes that's because he put out a lot of stuff. And there's a part of his career, even though I heard a lot of stuff, I tuned it out. I really stopped paying Prince albums attention after the mid 90s, to be honest with you. Because he just put out a lot of stuff and it just was kind of just thrown together. So I really don't, to me, it's all about the 80s with me and him. Yeah, I'd probably tell you the Dirty Mind. I'd say from 80 to 87 was like his peak, his prime, to be honest with you. He was average in the 70s and he was not that memorable in the 90s and whatnot. Where Prince will always stay cool with me was his live show for the most part. For the most part. Because that's one thing. That was his bread and butter. He go on stage, he usually brought it. But his albums, I didn't like nothing from 20 from 2000 till the time he died. Nothing really. It sounded like earlier stuff, and it sounded like watered down second, third tier version stuff. And I'm sorry, I feel like I saw him at his peak in his prime. Some artists, I just, that's one thing. Well, you know how you are about when you ask me about some athletes. Well, I'm like about music, movies, act people. There's certain things I saw that you're not going to get me to sway from because I heard that and I saw it. And with Prince, there wasn't nothing that I missed. I'm never say nothing like that. No one does aimless. I disagree. Cause that's almost like saying that with a Stevie Wonder, Miles Davis, or Michael Jackson. And no one does aimless. You have peaks and valleys and you hit, but you're always trying to better what you did. You don't sit and rest on your laurels. That's not the spirit. Most acts want to have something that they can look back and say years later, hey, I can still get you. So I disagree on that. And Prince was a competitive cat, so I know better than that. I followed the man's career. He was one of those crunch munch type of cats that he really wanted to. I didn't like none of those records. I think uh Fascination, what the one song he had, it was okay, but it just wasn't the same. That's not even an era that I even paid much attention to. I didn't like the Third Eye Girl mess at all. I didn't like the home stretch too much. But I wasn't crazy about 2000 through 2009 to be honest with you. His stuff was just kind of there. Some people like the Rainbow Children. Uh I just thought this stuff was kind of. My favorites are 1999, Controversy, Parts of Dirty Mind, and Sound of Times. Those are my favorites. I never was big on the Purple Rain soundtrack. I only like three songs. I think Doves Cry was a great song. I like Baby I'm a Star and I like Purple Rain. I wasn't that big on the soundtrack. That was too whitewashed for me. Wasn't crazy about the Batman soundtrack. Just thought it sounded like hybrids of his old stuff, which he layered and he made it work. But I didn't think anything. I thought Electric Chair was probably my favorite song of that album. That was the one that saved his career because before he did that record, he was more R&B pop. Like he was a soulful younger cat. Dirty Mind was the one that the Freak Flag that changed his whole. That's the one that brought him to the hit him the next level. If he doesn't make that album, I don't know if he would have made it. And of course, the Controversy album. See, to me, his Holy Trinities. Oh, I appreciate you, man. His Holy Trinities was Dirty Mind, Controversy, 1999. That's his moments. All right, I appreciate you stepping. I'm gonna call it a day in just a little bit myself. Been on for like almost an hour and a half, and I appreciate everybody that came through. The poll was great. The video will still be up, so feel free to contribute. It's almost a 50-50 split. Baseball don't get no love. It should be more like 75 or 80%. I think the wild card is great. I think it's one of the best things they've had happen, you know. Because you got some interesting teams if they lose and they end up in their season is over. So on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Appreciate when it came through. Stay tuned for next time I come through, and the show will be up on broadcast. And then, yeah, as you do, you can feel free to get in touch with me. Your mom asked why they play so early in their day. You talking about baseball, or what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't understand your question. Oh, because Wrigley doesn't. Wrigley always had some rules about the daytime in Detroit too. Yeah, that's how it used to always be. That's how it always used to be. But, it wasn't until the TV marketing changed everything that they got more later games. The marketing always had more day games. It was always like in the Midwest too. I know it's Milwaukee's, Detroit, Chicago. They always had more early games. I always thought that was part of the allure of it. So I don't. That's what they've always done. Uh, question mark tomorrow early. But if I don't be on early, if I'm on, then probably won't be back till Saturday. That's why I did a back to back and I did Sunday this week. So you saw me 3 times this week. I'll send you a note if I come on tomorrow at all. And then Saturday be at the earliest right now. So that's the latest though. I'll let you know though. Anyway, I appreciate everyone that came through and thanks for the comments. And we're gonna be back real soon. So stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free, stay true. Thanks for participating. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you soon. All right, I'm out one time. Peace.